All right. So, again, my name's Aaron Walker. I'm a board member with the Education Alliance, and today I have the honor and privilege of introducing our next guest. I had this nice speech laid out where it was going to be a surprise, and I was going to see if you can guess who it was, but didn't dawn on me it'd be all over on the screens and printed in the program, so that plan doesn't work anymore. But there are a couple things I do want to point out. So I work for the electric utility. Hopefully everybody cheers at that. Yeah. Good deal. I'm in a safe company. So working for the electric utility, I get the privilege of working with businesses of all sizes across our community, small, medium, large-sized businesses. I also get the privilege of working with businesses that are looking to locate to the state. Sometimes I even have a hand in lowering them into the state. And pretty common for a business, at least in our initial discussions, to talk to me about what they value about their business is the relationship they have with the community. Pretty common, right? For all the business owners here, I'm sure when you talk to your employees and you talk to members in the community, that's something that you're incredibly proud of. When I think about the businesses that I have the opportunity of working with, there is one that truly stands out, almost leaps and bounds amongst others. No knock on anyone, but Nucor, right? So we're going to introduce our speaker today from Nucor, but my guess is most of you have already met him. Right? Haven't even started the facility. 2-3 years ago, I started noticing him popping up on board meetings. I'm going, who's that guy? Right? Where are you from? I'm from Kentucky. Well, don't say that out loud. But we'll fix that, and we'll get you here. But the fact that I saw him so far in advance of really them laying a stake in the claim, or stake in the ground here in West Virginia, speaks volumes for that company and that culture, right? They truly walk the walk. They're the real deal. And that's about the company, yes, but largely that's the leader. That's that individual that brings that passion and that energy. And you're going to have an opportunity to hear some of that here today when he speaks. Man I'm talking about here is John Farris again. Surprise ruined, so I don't get to do the big reveal and the click. Also, his picture's apparently right behind me. The size of this auditorium. So, again, what I can tell you is Nucor is the real deal, and in particular, Mr. John Farris is the real deal when we talk about that partnership. As I listen to Senator Grady go through her presentation there, the 4 must-haves, that's them. That's him. So it's really an honor to have him today. A little bit about his history, if you don't know. So first, let me talk a little bit about Nucor. So everybody knows Nucor's building a small facility in Mason County. Pretty small, just so happens to be their largest capital investment in the company's history, as well as at the time they announced it, the largest investment in the state. That's incredible, right? Leading the charge there as the vice president and general manager is John Farris, who started his career with Nucor in 1992. Won't say how old I was in 1992. I won't, because I don't want you to feel bad. I was only 2. No, I'm kidding. I'm joking. But he started as an electrician in Arkansas, and over the years stepped into new roles of increased responsibility from Texas to Kentucky, and then successfully landed in the best place on earth here in West Virginia. So I'm going to have the honor of introducing him, but one thing I want to end before I introduce him is he probably has the award for the coolest cover of the West Virginia Chamber magazine. Did anyone see this? I wish I'd known you had all these features. You see that? Anybody watch that show with Mike Rowe on the Discovery Channel? I thought that's who that was. It's a great article too. So with that, I ask you to join me in welcoming Mr. John Farris, Vice President and General Manager of Nucor.
Oh, Aaron. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Wow, what an introduction. Good grief. I was kind of hoping that magazine had kind of just disappeared, and then here you are. Listen, it is a real honor to be speaking here today, and I want to thank Amelia and Sally for the invite. But bigger than that, it's really a great honor to be a member of the West Virginia business community. And there is an energy in this state, there's an energy in this area that's just palpable. Now, maybe if you've been here, you don't recognize it. But coming from other places and just dropping in here, this new investment that we're making in Mason County, it's just incredible, the amount of excitement. And I was meeting with Alyssa's boyfriend or husband, and because I was trying to figure out, after we announced, why was there kind of excitement? And I had the great privilege of having lunch with Brad. And there was one other colleague there that Brad hadn't spoken with in a few years, so they were catching up. But at the end of that, the colleague asked Brad, said, Brad, really appreciate you taking the president's position at Marshall University. I'm just curious, why? Why did you do it? And that's when the light bulb come on for me about the excitement. Brad said, well, simply, I love this state. I grew up just down the road from the university. This position as the president of Marshall gives me an opportunity as a West Virginian to tell the story about the great opportunities that exist within this state. And then he pointed his finger right at me and he goes, John, I know you're from the Bluegrass State, but you're here now. So I need you to join in that effort in telling those opportunities. So we're doing our best. Go ahead and switch the slide if you would, please. All right, that looks like a hot mess. Tony, thank you for 4%. It's it's actually 7 now. So big progress. Yeah, it's actually 7%. When we're completed with this, just to give you an idea, just to make this a little bit more rational, we're expected to pour 450,000 cubic yards of concrete. So the One World Trade Center, or the Freedom Tower, however you refer to that, it's 425,000 cubic yards of concrete. And if you're a technical person, 1 cubic yard of concrete is 10 wheelbarrow loads. Can you imagine using a wheelbarrow for all that concrete? I'd be in a lot better shape than I'm in right now if I could make it. We currently have 700 contractors on site. We expect to be at our peak sometime around first quarter of 2025, and that'll be around 2,000, and that will persist for several months. Building a steel plant's a lot like building a home. You'll see the structures come up fairly quick, and then you're like, are we ever going to get this thing done? So steel plant will be the same way, but we expect to begin operations in 2026, be fully operational in 2027. The new core team currently is approaching 200, and it'll eventually be at 800. So the hiring is really is tracking right along with the percent complete. That way, when people join our team, they join behind. And there's plenty of work to do, and they get that spirit of getting things done and go home at the end of the day with things done. You know, I was thinking about, a way to kick this off, and I'll just tell you something that's very true about me. Grew up in a small town in Murray, Kentucky. Was fortunate to be able to put myself through college by raising tobacco. What was more fortunate than that, though, is I had an opportunity to work right alongside my dad, my granddad, my brother, my mom, my grandmother, all of that. We were anything but silver spoon. But in a sense, though, the person that pushed me the most for education was my grandmother. And she pushed me like a wobbly wheel shopping cart, I'm telling you. Now, she passed away several years ago, and I hope when I see her in the end that she will at least say, you did okay. But then she'll probably follow up and say, but you could have done that better. What in the world were you thinking there? But anyway, I'm forever grateful for her. I didn't actually have line of sight to precisely what I wanted to do. Had no idea. But the one thing that many of us probably have in common is I wouldn't be standing here today in this moment if not for education. Are there others of you that would feel similar? Yeah. So it's easy for us to make the statement after we're into our career. But go back to what Senator Grady said. What do those kids see? They don't see that. What line of sight do those children have, middle school, high school? What is their line of sight to opportunity? That's the role where business can step up. Several months ago, it's probably been a little over a year, I had an opportunity to visit Hannon High School. There was no plans for me to speak. It was a previous superintendent, and we were just going there on a visit to walk through the school. So we get to the front of the school in the reception area, and we met the principal, and she leaned over the counter, and I couldn't hear exactly what she said, but the young lady behind the counter, she snatched that intercom up, and she said, all 10th and 11th graders in the cafeteria immediately. I thought there was a tornado coming or something. I didn't. So we go walk into the cafeteria, which wasn't that far away. It's a pretty small high school. And I'm really thinking about, okay, I've got to tell, I got a brief little opportunity here, but I've got to tell the Nucor story now, and I'm thinking about how do I calibrate? But the principal and the superintendent did wonderful. It ended up being them asking questions within the context that would make sense to a 10th and 11th grader. And it ended up being wonderful. But looking at these kids, they're so young, so full of vibrant energy, and they're not saying a word. They're as stone-faced staring right through me. I'm like, I'm dying here. I am dying here. Finally, this young man, real timid, he kind of raised his hand because we had gotten through what is the starting position in the steel plant, what would it pay? And the superintendent and principal were doing a really good job about what that means. What does a $100,000 a year job mean for you? And they're doing awesome. Oh, yeah. The principal asked me, he said, John, do you use math in steelmaking? Of course, you can imagine what happened after that. Yes, blistering, withering attack on those kids. This is why you got to study math. It was awesome. I stepped back out of the way. But anyway, this young man raised his hand, and I'll never forget it. He goes, Mr. Farris, I don't think any of us can work as a steelmaker. What other positions do you have out there? And there's a lot of other positions that are great occupations. The point in that is there's smart kids everywhere, all across this state. They're smart regardless of what environment they're growing up in. If we can give them line of sight to opportunity and be there with them to explain it and create some excitement about that, what could we do? They may not be a steelmaker. That's okay. They may be in another occupation. That's wonderful because we'll sell them a washing machine that our steel was used to make or an automobile that our steel was used to make. They don't have to be a steelmaker. But wouldn't it be cool if they could enter the workforce and change the trajectory of their family? Wouldn't that be cool? You know, back to when I was young, coming up through high school, grade school, high school, and grandmama was just, wow, anyway, I didn't see opportunity, but what my grandmother and my mother instilled in me is that there was opportunity there. I just didn't know what. And they instilled that in me and got me excited about learning. Because I could have really made a mess of things, I think. But I got excited about learning. And I did have interest that I had. And graduated from Murray State University with an engineering degree, became an electrician at Nucor, Arkansas. Had no idea that almost to the day, 30 years after I started there, I'd be standing at the high school in Point Pleasant announcing Nucor's largest investment. That's how cool an education is. That's how cool encouragement is, actually. That's what I think is, you know, if I think about young kids and you distill down what is it that's lacking, possibly. You know, we're talking about line of sight, but there's something that comes before that. It's encouragement. Encouragement. Just a little bit. It's amazing how powerful just a little bit of encouragement can be. That can be for children that are in school. It can be someone who's recovering from substance use but needs to find an opportunity for a sense of purpose and hope and find an occupation in steelmaking or somewhere else. Encouragement. We've all lived it. We know the power of that. We can share those stories in a compelling way. And actually in my day job at the plant, surrounded by extremely capable people, just a lot more capable than I am, I spend all day offering encouragement to them. That's what I do. I encourage them and remind them of what their aspirations are when things move a little sideways, and things do. When things move a little sideways, encourage them. The other thing that Nucor does is we really do empower our team. It is not a top-down organization at all. It's very flat. And empowerment sounds good until it gets real. You know, it's kind of like you go out with your wife and you're at a nice dinner and you drink a glass of wine and say, it feels pretty good. Drink another glass of wine and you know what's going to happen tomorrow morning. That's sort of what accountability looks like on empowerment. But when you encourage people to accept the responsibility and accountability that comes with empowerment and they get intoxicated with that, that's awesome. And we need to take that to these schools and these young kids because they're coming one way or the other. They're going to be running it all someday. So here's a provocation. I'm going to make this statement because I really want us to think about this. It's really hard to believe in the scarcity of opportunity. It's really hard to believe in a scarcity of opportunity. There's a little bit of a play on words there, but think about that as a paradigm. That your paradigm is that opportunity is scarce. What does that do to your outlook on the future? It's hard to live that way. The reason being, it's absolutely not true. It is not true. There's an abundance of opportunity out there, incredible opportunity out there. Incredible opportunity in the state of West Virginia. It's just unbelievable. But we've got to point that out to children. The journey through life with a scarcity mentality like that, it's difficult. But if you can position your mind in the paradigm and inspire these young kids, young adults, to think about abundance that is actually out there, think about how light that journey is. And it's exciting, and it's fun, and you build relationships with other people, and you get inspired by them. And if you feel that there's an abundance of responsibility, you're a lot more likely to extend your hand and help someone that needs to be able to find it, to find their compass and find that line of sight to where opportunity is. On the opportunity, I'll just share with you kind of 3 actual things that are occurring that Nucor is monitoring pretty closely because we see that our businesses are well positioned for. One is the rebuilding and expansion of our nation's infrastructure. There's been a lot of federal money put there. There'll be a lot of private investment that comes along with that too. We're very much at the beginning of that. The next one is ongoing transition into a green and digital economy. That one is starting as well. It's ongoing and it's going to persist. The last one is the reshoring of manufacturing, where we're going to make and build things here in the United States. That is occurring as we speak. Now for us, obviously, those are all steel-intensive industries. But you know what is more intense? They need people. We need people in those industries. I've read accounts, just to give you some context on the reshoring of manufacturing, I've read accounts that this reshoring may actually rival what happened here at the close of World War II. Now, it may take several years for this to happen. It's happening now, but it will take several years. So we have a little time. That's something to be excited about. And I'd love to share that story in the schools. And I intend to. Final thoughts. Oh, I missed something that I should have brought up at the beginning. You know what the most frequently asked question was after we announced that we were coming to Mason County, West Virginia? You know what the most frequently asked question I received? John, are you really coming? Seriously, if somewhere between 3 and 4 million times. I got to, but I get it. I understand why that question is asked. Our process is a little bit different. When we site a plant, we go all the way through the end of the process before we ever say boo on those things. But others are a bit different, and that's fine. They can do it however they want to. So I'm going to copy something here from Jordan Peterson, and the question is this. What is the role of education? And it's little e, education. What is the role? And I'm going to butcher what Jordan Peterson said. But it goes something like, the role of education is to prepare us to be able to carry the burden for future generations of West Virginians about the opportunities that exist all around them. That's the role of education, is to prepare us to carry the burden of living in a free country in the best state in the United States and point out those future opportunities for future generations. You say, well, wow, that's pretty melodramatic. But it's really easy. Prepare yourself to enter the workforce. Start your own business. You don't have to think about the nobility of the burden of freedom and all of that stuff. In Nucor's mission statement, and I'm not going to read it all to you, and I don't have a slide, but there's a word that exists in there. It's the only place where it's the only word that exists twice, and the word is live, L-I-V-E. The first place it exists is live our culture. The second place is live each day with gratitude. We're very proud of the culture of our company, and it's really built around empowerment. And the org structure isn't me at the top making all the decisions, and then I tell everybody what to do. Flip it upside down. I'm there to serve everybody's needs. I'm there to empower them. I'm there to challenge. I'm not there to direct activities. People know what to do. They know exactly what to do. They're going to act in their best interest, which is probably the same as mine. Is I'm providing for my family. And they'll run fast when they're like that. The live each day with gratitude, the word there, gratitude, is extremely important because it can align you with the fact that there's an abundance of opportunity, if you think about it. But you've all met people that have had tremendous challenges in life, maybe physically, maybe whatever has happened to them. They've had tremendous loss, but they have that positive attitude. They're a magnet. People want to be around them. And you live each day with gratitude, people will want to help you. But the key word is live. And yes, going on vacations and doing those kind of things is good, but really living is when you have challenges and things happen to you in your life, you lean into them and you learn. And you share your experiences with others. Another challenge hits you in the face that you weren't expecting. You go again. You lean into it. And you keep going. Pretty soon you gain confidence in yourself and you become a role model for others. So I'm at the end of this. And I want to thank you all for the opportunity to speak. Senator Grady, you did a wonderful job. Where'd she go? She's not here. Yeah, but that piece, I could tell by the reactions in the audience when I brought up that Scarcity of opportunity versus abundance of opportunity, it's a little different way to think about it. It's a little different way to think about it. But if you're a business leader, if you're a business owner, or you're someone that creates jobs, that's your calling. Share how abundant opportunities are. We don't have to be cynical. We choose to be cynical. There is an abundance of opportunity there, and there's more coming. And it is awesome to be part of the state of West Virginia, and greatest state in the nation. So thank you all.